I think this is great live on Substack New Year's Eve. And that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. That is where we're at. We're on Substack. I got my new Batwing and Snake Eyes and Timber back there keeping me company. And I am here on Substack Live to do a little end of the year type thing. I think this is great. New year. Getting ready for a great new year ahead of us. We are going to look back at, I don't know, some memories of 2025. Talk about some media consumption. Talked about what we liked. And also, this is an opportunity for you to ask me anything. Ask me anything. Ask me in the chat. Ask me here on Substack. If you see this on YouTube later, you can ask me there. You can ask me questions there. I'll be happy to let you know what I think of your questions and answer them. So we're at 7:02 here. We've got a couple of viewers on, and I'm very much appreciative of you all chiming in, hanging out here with me on New Year's. And I promise we'll get the regular show happening very, very soon with a little bit more of a plan and our structure, as it were. But I am going to take a look into my Photos app and see what I can dig out of the photo library. So we are happy. We had a great Christmas. Hope y'all did also have a great Christmas. I promise it's going to get better, folks. I swear it. You know what's really annoying is these political texts you get. Okay, why don't I do it for real? Thank you, everybody, for joining me, claynferno, for claynferno's Year in Review, which is 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. New Year's Eve. 2026 is just around the corner, a few hours away. I hope y'all are having a good time tonight, celebrating with family and friends. I hope everything was great with your family and friends and your holiday seasons. And it's a tough time. One of the things I talk about here on Substack is mental health. And so I hope everyone's taking care of themselves. My industry kind of shuts down a little bit. I mean, you know, I'm the events industry, so we have shows. Shows are happening, but there's not a lot of people doing work. So that's one thing to consider. If you get any time off like this in a big chunk during the course of the year, the last 2 weeks of December, typically for us, it's a great time. So what I've been doing is watching Mad Men, and I'm completely obsessed with it. I think that I might even go so far as to say that I want to start a Mad Men podcast. So there's about 90 hours worth of television, and they re-released it and put it out on HBO Max 4K. And it's just an amazingly rewatchable, amazingly well done, amazingly well crafted, well written, well directed, stylistically. It's so great. I loved Mad Men when it came out, and I'm re-falling in love with it. And I think that there's a lot that you can say about Mad Men to this day. Like, I feel like there's a lot of lessons to be learned there. One of my favorite characters is Duck, and, you know, Duck kind of like got himself in a little bit of a mess with his drinking and stuff like that, but then kind of came back, and he pops in and out of the series in interesting ways. So Duck, shout out Duck from the Mad Men series. Love that stuff. I guess, why don't I take a look at my photo album, which I think is the easiest way for me to chronicle the year. I started off this year working for a nonprofit arts organization. And as a freelancer, those contracts don't last forever. So that ended in August, but it was good to keep me kind of in the flow, kind of keep things going, pay the bills and stuff like that. I also started the year off with like a really, really especially tough time. These teeth here, they're brand new, they're permanent. It started back at the end of 2024. And actually the long story is it started right before the pandemic. If you think about it, the pandemic was right at the beginning of the year. I mean, it started in March, but right before then, the long story that I haven't gotten to share all the gory detail with was I got a lot of teeth taken out. I had bone dust put in my jawline where there was missing bone. And this was all before the pandemic. So I had this great health insurance and everything was being paid for. And then boom, work stopped for forever. And then I was missing teeth. I had dentures. Long story short, that's end of 2019. Took me till a little bit before Thanksgiving to get these permanent teeth, which I have to say, I have a small amount of supporters here on Substack, and I appreciate it because that money goes directly into the dental fund because it was very expensive. Started out beginning of the year, this huge surgery, and that sucked. And I promise not to show everybody like all of the gross pictures from the dentist, but it was pretty gnarly. It was pretty darn bad. And so I feel sad sort of about that, but mostly I'm sad about the money. The pain is like nothing to me now. I can take any surgery, any dental surgery or anything. And I still need to work on my plosives and my elocution as far as doing podcasts and things like that. But I'm learning. It's like these teeth, they're permanently in there now. And all I got to say about that is that is great. I love that. But a lot of time, very expensive. There's predatory lending out there in the forms of Synchrony and Care Credit. I'm fighting them tooth and nail. Every bill that I get, every month, there's some sort of weird charge on there. And that had to do like a lot of weird adult sort of things this year. One was, and we'll get into it later, but my Facebook was banned. My Facebook was banned and it was affecting all of my job because freelance social media marketer can't access Facebook, can't do most of all of those jobs. And so that sort of sucked. But there are also a lot of cool, fun things that I did this year, which was that I decided that I was going to try my hand at stand-up comedy. And I did it twice. And so we announced the first Claynferno's Variety Hour in January of last year. And it went up and we did a show at the Arts at the Armory, one of my favorite venues, one of my favorite places to play, my favorite staff of all time. They're the best over there. And we had a great show in February. So January, surgery, feeling bad, feeling sad. February comes around, it's still cold outside, but we did first Claynferno's Variety Hour, and we had a ton of cool comics and Duncan and Stacey doing burlesque. And, we had a good time at the Armory. It was really fun. And I really enjoyed doing that. We'll talk about media a little bit. We're still making our way through, but have not yet completed because we've started watching new things. Star Trek Enterprise. I'm not going to say it's my favorite series, but I very much like it. It's up there and underrated, I think, as far as Star Trek fans are concerned. I think it's a little underrated. So check out Star Trek Enterprise. What I like about it is very much like submarine space. It's pre-TOS technology, and they're just figuring out transporter technology, and they all kind of look like they could be like a few years in the future from now, as opposed to like 100 years or whatever it is with the original series. So that was very cool. And since we're talking about Star Trek, I also want to say 15 years doing League podcast, we've never done a Star Wars movie. But this year we did it. It's the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, which is probably the best of the prequels. If you were to just take the prequel timeline and the original trilogy timeline and not talk about Rogue One or anything, because I think I probably would say that Rogue One is, I can't say it's the best, but it's probably my favorite. And we had Andor this year too. But if you think about the prequels, we have got Revenge of the Sith, also space battles, cool story, great bridge before Rogue One comes out, great bridge into the original trilogy series. And so we finally talked about it. A couple of white guys talking about Star Wars Revenge of the Sith on podcast. It's not breaking new ground, is what I'm saying. It's not breaking new ground at all. But we finally did it, and we got one in. And so we've done a Star Wars movie on our podcast. Maybe we'll do other ones, but I kind of doubt it. But anyways, there was that. And, I did some traveling this year. I'm not going to really mention the talent I was working with, but, it's people that I continued my work with Dropkick Murphys for their traditional St. Patrick's Day celebrations at MGM Music Hall at House of Blues. Amazing time. And what's great about that is I get to hang with my friends who are like my work family, and I just really appreciate them. They're the best, and the band is great, and they treat everyone really well, and they're just really cool. And I like to see my friends, and I'm so happy for their success and everything that comes along with it. I am like a small barnacle, a cog in a wheel. I don't affect them in any way, but they always invite me, which makes me feel really good to help with them working. So I very much appreciate that. Let's see. Saw some cool shows too. I saw Tim Heidecker play at Sinclair. I think it was scheduled to be Royale, but they moved to Sinclair. And DJ Doug Pound, and big fan of them, office hours and podcast and comedy and everything. So that was great. So not only did I do my own stand-up set, I saw one of my favorite comedians, and I wasn't working the show. I was just being entertained. Are you not entertained? Yes, we're entertained. Brought myself up to the movies a few times. I saw the last Mission Impossible movie, the final, what is it? The final something? Final Reckoning. The Final Reckoning. Tom Cruise. I gotta say, these last two, not my favorite, to quote Stacy, not my favorite Mission Impossible movies. They weren't as good, but it still was good, if you know what I'm saying. It's still good. It's still worth watching. All of them. Watch the whole dang thing. If you're like me, you might want to cram in 90 hours worth of Mad Men at the end of the year. Maybe you want to watch all of the Mission Impossible movies. Maybe you want to watch all the original Mission Impossible TV shows. Although I don't know how many people do that. Although Leonard Nimoy found himself upon that show at a certain point. Anyways, don't know why I'm talking so much about the Mission Impossible movies. The last two weren't great, even though they had Peggy Carter in them. But, what can you do? On our ever-expanding mind of what we do with our podcast, League Podcast. We started out, if you don't know, part of a crew, League of Ordinary Gentlemen, and we do a lot of different things. So we do Curb Your Enthusiasm podcast. That's no longer on the air. We do Vampire Council, which is what we do in the Shadows podcast. That's no longer on the air. But ever since the pandemic, we've switched to movies and a different schedule, and it's better for everybody. I suggested that we watch The Sting, which I had caught. And then when we got home from our first variety hour, we watched The Sting, all of us, and then made the boys like it and watch it. And they did. They liked it. That's a great Robert Redford movie. It's a good time, man. The Sting. That's a good one. A good one. Let's see. What else do we have going on? What else? Getting into February, March, other things happening. There was an amazing Spider-Man, or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show, which I'm not gonna knock it, but I think it says something when you start to watch something and it just kind of falls off. Like, we didn't finish watching that. It's not like it's bad, but I wasn't like, I need to see that next Spider-Man animated show. So I guess we'll get around to it, but we didn't go crazy for it. Let's see what other good things we could talk about in media. DC, HBO, there's always a lot of people talking about what's going on with DC Studios. We had Superman this year, but also we had Creature Commandos, which is really great. We had Peacemaker, which was really great. And I don't know, it doesn't matter. Canon goes out the window. It doesn't matter. Kite Man and Harley Quinn, DC animated television shows, which I think were really funny, and they should be watched by you. This is what I'm saying. Watch them. They are very good and very, very, very funny. It's funny because I'm going through my camera roll here. I'm seeing like lots of photos from the shows that we did and a lot of promo and stuff. And I always kind of keep track of what I watch on Tracked, which is an app on my phone, log in all my movies, and I log in all my TV shows, and I put it in my stories or whatever, just in case it's like something new. Everybody, maybe they want to chime in, let me know like what their thoughts are on certain threads of what they're thinking of in their mind. And so, anyways, I've seen a lot of this stuff that I did post. Like, here's something also that I don't think is really that great. Hey, Scott, show that has a lot of potential, Watson. That's on Paramount. CBS was good. I love all Sherlock stuff, but maybe not all of it. There's another show we kind of waded ourselves into, did not finish. And it's okay, but it wasn't too exciting to watch. So Watson, give it a kind of a meh rating. And let's see, what else did we watch? Oh, there was the Gladiator. We watched Gladiator and the second Gladiator movie. Thought those were really fun. It was the second Gladiator movie is a little strange, but I gotta say, it was pretty good. I liked it. It was weird to see some of the CGI in that movie. Wasn't too crazy on that, but what can you do? What can you do? Another show we really always love to watch on Paramount is Ghosts. And we watched the Ghost UK and all of the current, we're caught up on Ghosts, Stacey's favorite show. We love Ghosts. And if you're not watching it, and since What We Do in the Shadows is not on anymore, maybe you want to get into a little bit of ghosting. So get into ghosting. I also really enjoy on Paramount. I'm like blowing up Paramount today with like Star Trek and Ghosts and Mission Impossible. But Matlock has to be one of the best shows on TV. And it's like your basic bitch show. It's like a law show, but it's, very mainstream and kind of broad. But, I don't watch a lot of stuff like that. So that's why I think that Matlock is probably one of the best shows that you can watch, and maybe surprising to some people to watch it. I hate watch Madam Web, and I started to hate watch Kraven the Hunter, and it really not good. But if you're on your phone and you're scrolling away, maybe you might be interested in hate watching some of these things. I don't know why I do it to myself to hate watch. Just going to plug the old phone in there. Let's see. On to more shows. I did a cool show. Wasn't very lucrative for me, but we had Kool Keith. Kool Keith, one of the best rappers out there, legendary guy. And, we did a show. We did a show with Kool Keith. And that's basically all I have to say about it. I'm a little bummed because it sort of cost me some money to put that show on, but it was Kool Keith. So I'm giving money to an artist that I believe in and I've been a fan of. So that's what this business is, the business of promoting stuff. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And it's not his fault that I lost money. But what can you do? Kool Keith, amazing performer, put on a great show. It was super nice, took selfies with everybody. And that was great. Going back into how we're bending our mind. Remember that word, bending our mind. Ooh, my little Jeff Goldblum. We're expanding our mind with our podcasts. We did this thing. Then we do this series called the Do-Over series, which is very fun. We take an old movie like The Manchurian Candidate because they remade The Manchurian Candidate. So we watched the old one, then we watched the new one. So over at League Podcast, we did a Do-Over series of Manchurian Candidate. And I'm going to tell you the clear winner. Warning. The original Manchurian Candidate is the best. It's the best version. Laura Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra. You can't go wrong with that one. And Denzel, I mean, we love Denzel. We love Denzel. He's a master. He's the equalizer. He's great. But that movie's a little tough to watch. The new, I think it's like 2004, Manchurian Candidate. A little rough, but you can listen to our Do-Over series at livepodcast.com. Then that's something we also do. We try to get together a few times a year with the podcast and see a movie. So we incorporate, of course, we made work out of it, but we went to see Hitchcock's Notorious with Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman. Sorry. Notorious is an amazing old film, a black and white, if you will. And so great. I love watching these old Cary Grant movies, but also like old movies, maybe because I'm 50 this year and Clayferno is dead. After this, no CNF 50 anymore. CNF 50 is dead. But we watched Notorious, and it was just a wonderful movie. I mean, it's Hitchcock anyways. You can't go wrong. So love Hitchcock. love Cary Grant, most handsome guy ever. Maybe that's why I'm watching Mad Men. I'm going to try to bring out the Don Draper in me at work from now on, I think. I think that would be a lot of fun. Had an awesome show with one of the kids in the hall, Bruce McCulloch, at Arts at the Armory. It was like part stand-up, part one-man show. If it comes to your city, go check it out. Bruce McCulloch, I mean, the guy's amazing. He was so nice and so gracious. And that's one thing that I like to say is that I'm really lucky that I work in the entertainment industry because I meet my heroes and they're nice people. And it's like a pleasure to work with them, pleasure to make sure their show goes great and just all that. It's awesome. And I had some friends. This was really special to me because I booked their first U.S. show at the Middle East. My friends from UK, Skinny Lister, they have become a lot bigger of a band and they've gone on tour. And since the time I booked them in the small room, moved them up to the big room, they came back. And like I said, we're like friends and families, kind of like Dropkick Murphys family too. So we had dinner with the little one and dad, and it was just so fun. So kicked off March that way, and it was really fun. Skinny Listeners on tour. They have a new record out, and their new record, Songs of the Yonder. Check it out. You should go listen to that. One of my top streamed all year. I can't be remiss if I would forget that big things happened this year in my family. My youngest niece, Macy, and Alex got married. And I went and I did something really crazy. When I'm 50 years old, I went and got fitted for my first suit. I felt like James Bond himself getting fitted for my suit and got a really nice tailored suit. So I consider that an investment in my Don Draper future as this year goes on. And my dear sweet niece, Darby and John, had a little baby Lennox, and little baby Lennox had her first Christmas, and we just had a blast with her this Christmas. So big stuff happened this. I turned 50. Sienna 50 is dead, but I'm going to tell you, we're not at that point yet. We're still in sort of March-ish, February-ish, getting into the first quarter of the year here. And I think this was actually a pretty smart idea to just look like piano roll. I watched and wrote about the movie Mank here on Substack. Gary Oldman. Great film. And I also recommend that one if you haven't seen it. It came out during a pandemic. And so you might have missed it. But it's very noir. It's the story of the story of the story of Citizen Kane and the screenwriter. And it's Gary Oldman. I mean, he's the best. David Fincher, right? David Fincher movie. So good. Back on the TV, talk about some other big favorites of the year. Got Severance. Severance is great. The White Lotus is great. Don't worry, we're going to talk Pluribus. And we're also going to talk more Mad Men. You want to talk about the Spider-Verse movies again. This third Venom movie, absolute symbiote shit. I mean, hate watch. I don't know why Sony's bothering making these movies without Marvel, because they have the license seems to make them a little bit like they're just not as good. They're just not as good. Tom Hardy's great. I don't see him as Eddie Brock. He plays the cinema Eddie Brock really well. Venom himself is funny. You know, this is all going to be, it all goes away now. But Venom 3, waste of time. The Last Dance, Venom 3. Don't watch Venom 3. If you watch Venom 1, I think you're okay. Your juju is good. with watching the first Venom movie. So I think that we are backing that, not so much backing the sequels to the Venom movies. Kind of like, what are you doing? Back over to Star Trek, Strange New World, another great show. And similar to Enterprise, I guess, because it's a prequel to the original series. And I don't love all of the Star Trek that Paramount puts out. That's new Trek. I want to see a new movie. I want to see number 4. I want to see number 4 from the JJ crew or Simon Pegg. They need to do it again. Really, Discovery, get out of here. Get out of here with Discovery. Start off strong, then oop. But Stranger Worlds, and also a show that ended, which was Lower Decks. Did that end this year or last year? I kind of forget when some of these things ended, but Lower Decks, so funny. So good. So good. So good, as I like to say. So Stranger Worlds, not a lot to be said about it. I mean, if you're not watching it and you're a fan of original flavor Star Trek, say check it out. I say check it out for Strange New Worlds. Rolling into some more dental surgery around this time. And you know what? It was not fun. It was not fun to do all of that dental surgery. I tell you that. But what else did I do? We're getting into March. We're at Fenway. We're doing Dropkick Murphys things. There's a lot of pictures that are just very, very, very green. Daredevil Born Again, Disney Plus. I am going to die on this hill. Daredevil Born Again is way not as good as the Defenders verse on Netflix. The original Daredevil TV show, and I even made the guys watch the Daredevil movie, Ben Affleck. Widely panned, I still think it's cool. Daredevil Born Again is too Disney for me. I don't know what that means exactly. I couldn't tell you exactly why I don't like it, except for this. I feel like it was really gritty and really fun to be like, ooh, this is what's going on, and this is what Daredevil would be like. Maybe this ties into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe this ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe or something. And with all the superhero fatigue, it's just when they went back to Daredevil Born Again, I just was not feeling it. I watched every single episode. I didn't care about the bad guys. I didn't care about the villains. And I feel like that's important. And it looked too clean. It's not the Hell's Kitchen that I know. Hashtag not my mayor. Hashtag not my president. Hashtag not my Daredevil. Hashtag not my Daredevil. Okay? Hashtag not my Daredevil. My Daredevil. The acting is great. I mean, these guys are awesome. But the show itself, overall quality-wise, I could do without it. Honestly, I wish they never even thought of making it. I mean, we get the Punisher in it and everything, but I just felt like it was a little rough. Is that bad for me to say? I don't know, but I'm saying it. A lot of people loved it, and I just was not feeling it. So totally not feeling it. Had a little political discourse this year, of course. Got a year of the Trump presidency behind us, I guess, and all sorts of shit going on with ICE. And you guys know what terrible things are going on out there. I don't need to tell you. Do not need to tell you. Let's bring it back to what was entertaining us this year. Put on another awesome show. This one I'm really proud of. You know the song, I'm just a bag baby? That's a band called Wheatus. and they were celebrating an anniversary of that tour. And so we hosted the show, and it was fun. It was so fun. And lots of people showed up, and it was great. Mark Maron, knowing that we've been around for 15 years, decided to quit podcasting to allow us to do what we do. So we thank Mark Maron for his service in podcasting. All of those years that happened this year. Don't forget about that. Don't forget that Mark Maron's quit podcasting this year. So to make room for the rest of us, to make room for Minus Touch, to make room for a leak podcast, you know? So that was happening. Went and saw Ninja Sex Party at Roadrunner. And that was really fun time with our friends. And then, embarrassingly enough, after I'd gotten new teeth, not these ones, but a couple before this, went out to dinner, chomped on a nacho chip, broke my teeth. I had to go back 3 times because they put in these temporary teeth while they're healing, and they make it out of really crumbly material. And I kept having to go back to the dentist, and I said, "Can you help me?" I broke my teeth again. Once we were on League Podcast, and I ate a pretzel, and I broke my teeth. These ones, they're hard as a rock, baby. Diamond. They're made out of diamonds. So Ninja Sex Party, Twip, Roadrunner, again, great show. Cool bunch of guys. Loved going to a show. Loved going to a show and not working. That's especially what I like. Love that. And, during the course of the year, we were at shows, we did comedy shows, we did live podcasts. This is just my life. It just keeps happening. I'm on the road. I'm catching early flights. I'm taking Airbnbs. I'm leaving $5 tip. I'm doing these kinds of things, a little bit of traveling. It was uncomfortable to do it with my teeth at some points during the year. But now that I have these permanent teeth, I feel like things are getting better. Things are getting better. We lost Val Kilmer this year, talking about Batman. Back there, I have my bat. Get that Batwing for Christmas with that's Michael Keaton Batman, but carrying on the legacy was Val Kilmer. And also, one of our top-rated podcasts ever was Tombstone, and Val Kilmer was so great in that. And I'll be a huckleberry. It was truly a tragic loss, Val Kilmer this year, but also lots of other tragic losses this year. I mean, we did a show with Carrie Elwes in The Princess Bride. And unfortunately now we know the news of Rob Reiner and how incredibly sad that is. Also, I'm going to tag it on here since we're talking about Rob Reiner. We watched the Spinal Tap movie, the 2, and it's funny. You should watch it. It's not the first one, but it gets a good little recap, and you can reflect on Rob Reiner's work and career. I was actually on one of these flights out to one of the shows I had to work, started watching A Few Good Men on a plane. And when I wasn't finished with it, when you get off the plane, you're like, oh, I'll just finish that movie when I get home. It wasn't streaming on anything. So I got on the old computer, opened up eBay, and bought a DVD copy of A Few Good Men. And I watched it, and I was like, this is such a brilliant movie. This is before Rob Reiner's untimely death. But that was this year, coincidentally. So just really enjoyed A Few Good Men. Rest in peace, Rob and Michelle. Such a sad, tragic thing that happened. But I gotta say, also, working in the industry I do, and meeting Carrie Elwes, and he was so nice, and we had a great show. And that's all I can say about that. It was really good. Super nice. Let's see here. We're getting into, we're almost about halfway through the year. I'm looking at some artwork here that's reminding me of The Sting. But it's the studio, Seth Rogen. So good. It's a meta Hollywood. It's comedy, but it's also about making things and making movies. And if you haven't seen it, really recommend the studio as well. Another great, we just had great TV shows this year. It's really fortunate to have that. And see, love it out. What other things are we watching? What other things are going on as we get into sort of springtime? We had, I don't know, let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. I was honored to be asked, but also honored literally by getting a Community Advocate Award from the Arts at the Armory, which I've plugged already a couple of times here, naturally, not to get around for this, but it was an event called the Glow Ball at the Arts at the Armory, the fundraising thing. I got a little award, and I graciously accepted their award. And that's kind of cool, because I've never gotten something like that before. And I'm 50, as I say, I'm 50 now. And getting a little Don Draper prize is a pretty cool feeling. So I am pretty psyched about that. So thank you, Arts of the Armory. And no matter where you are, wherever you live or whatever, support your local arts community. Now, that can mean a lot of things. That can mean you're teaching classes. That can mean you support a venue. That can mean you volunteer somewhere. That can mean just like sharing other people's art, artistic voices, share it on the Instagram story. You see things like there's a lot of these art markets, maker fairs. No, they're not maker fairs. What are they, like pop up? Like my friend Bridget does, Small Mart, queer artist markets popping up all the time. No, that's the best way to support artists. You directly go to a place like that, or to a farmer's market, support your local community, support arts in the community, give artists money for a thing, right? Give them cash, give them some Venmo, buy little trinkets, and keep the arts, because arts funding was stripped this year. So support artists directly, buy stuff from them at Small Mart or wherever. For local independent venues, support anything independent before it's just one big company that runs everything for the rest of our lives, which is clearly where we're going. But yeah, so do that. I want to talk about another Hitchcock movie we did, was Rear Window, one of the classics. We love Rear Window, love a Hitchcock movie. And yeah, it's clearly stylistically one of the best. And if you do want to do a little research on how they made the movie and some of the stuff we talk about on the podcast, livepodcast.com, we get into it. We get into the nitty gritty details. You know what I mean? So he's not just a peeping Tom with a broken leg. You pervert. But yeah, enjoy that film. I talked a little bit about the Vampire Council and what we do in the shadows, but there was a great Dracula movie, basically, Nosferatu. I really love Dave Eggers' Nosferatu movie. Some people didn't like it. Some people didn't like his little mustache. I gotta say, it's a good one. It's a good movie. I know we didn't do a do-over for this, but Stacey and I watched like all these little iterations, like of the silent movies. You can find it on YouTube. It's public domain. So we watched like a couple of different Nosferatu versions. And there's like a Werner Herzog Nosferatu. We didn't really like watch that, but we watched a couple of different versions of Nosferatu and really enjoyed the most recent one, if you can believe it. Don't listen to people and say it's not a good movie, because it is. It is a good movie. And an artist that I did get to work with in the past, Hannah Einbinder, blowing up, doing great. Joe Mandy also works on the show. Hacks, gotta watch Hacks. Hacks is another great, very, very funny show on HBO. And if you're not watching it, it's also comparable to like The Studio in a way that it's like how the sausage is made. So you see how people are, there's agents and comedians and actors and late night shows. So even though I'm very much on the periphery of all this stuff, when it comes down to it, like I'm not a big important guy in the music industry or comedy industry or anything like that. But whenever you get to watch a show like this, it brings you back there. And some of the stuff I'm like, oh, I recognize that. I identify with that because that's something that I know about. Or, you know, like that's part of the experience of putting on a show or working on your stand-up set. We love Hacks. I hope that you check out Hacks. You ain't seen Hacks yet. So you can watch a bunch of different seasons. There are 2 Marvel movies this year, and let's take a second to talk about them. Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was fun. Thunderbolts was a good movie. Thunderbolts isn't a great movie, but Thunderbolts is a good movie. It's good. We give letter ratings on our show. Give it like a B. Captain America. What? What would that mean? Now, I don't have a problem with there being a different Cap in the suit, but that movie was a TV show pitched to us as a movie. And not since Eternals or, it's something, Black Widow. Black Widow was the sad. Black Widow made me a sad. That movie, even though it had Harrison Ford and a Red Hulk, it ain't no Thunderbolts, and it ain't even really a sequel to the other Captain America movies, but you'd think it would be, kind of, but it isn't. Each Marvel movie, when there's like 17 million of them now, isn't each one a sequel to the other one? I don't know. But that Captain America movie was definitely a screamer, and maybe even put under the hate watch. You might even want to hate watch that one. It just not good. It not good movie. If there's a Marvel movie, we can't forget about the Fantastic Four now, can we? Although we kind of maybe can. I think Thunderbolts was a better movie than Fantastic Four. So sue me. Well, let's talk positively. Let's build it up. And casting was pretty okay for Fantastic Four. I think that stylistically, I liked that it was 60s Kirby-esque, but not too much. Very much like a retro future, alternate history. It was like very much set in the Mad Men world, like the time when the Fantastic Four actually came out. I think that's what a lot of people wanted and demanded, and they got it. They got it in spades. They even had like a different kind of Stan Lee cameo. Stan and Jack, actors playing Stan and Jack, obviously, in their little timely offices. So, okay. That's okay. We see a little bit of Fantastic Four at the end of Thunderbolts. Spoiler warning. But I guess if we're going to pick the best of those 3 Marvel movies, probably going to stick with Thunderbolts. Stick with Thunderbolts. Fantastic Four. Thunderbolts. Down here. What week saw that was. I want to be positive. But when you take a Marvel limited series and make it a movie, no, maybe try to make it good. Maybe try to make it good. Maybe try to make it gooder than it was. That's all I got to say. That's all I gotta say about that. I wrote a Substack on The Sweet and Lowdown, which is a Woody Allen movie with Sean Penn, two controversial figures. But Sweet and Lowdown, when I first saw it, I thought it was maybe the story of a real guy, but it's not. But I really like that. So you can see that on the Substack. Go read my review of that. Really enjoyed that. Yellowstone ended, and at some point they came out with the Red Hulk, 1923. Harrison Ford was in 1923, like 1883. I have not yet finished 1923. What did I say before? If I'm not finishing something, I guess it means I kind of don't like it. I guess it means it wasn't very good. Such is life, though. Such is life. So we had more comedy, way more comedy this year. Did a lot of stuff. We watched the show The Residents on Netflix. That was pretty fun. It's a Shondaverse world show. That was very fun. I think we wrapped up on Doctor Who with Judy Godwa as Doctor Who, and he quit. He's not Doctor Who anymore. So they're going to have to regenerate him into something. But also, you got to consider, Disney, BBC, they don't have their contract locked in. So I guess there's a special that comes out that's that's Doctor Who related, but not part of the main story. It's more Torchwood related, I guess. So I look for more Doctor Who. I love Trudy. Thought he was a fun doctor. Sad that he didn't get I'm sad that he didn't get a little bit more to do as a doctor, but I think it was too much on him. And as someone that it feels that way sometimes, I can't blame him. He had to walk away from Doctor Who, and he's a great actor. So I look forward to seeing him in other things. You know, a big fan of Doctor Who, and look to see like what more they could be doing in their lives. Dawson and I did a couple of these live stream things. One was just a shooting shit kind of thing. Another one talked about Superman. We will get to Superman. Oh yes, we will get to Superman. That's coming up a little later in the summer. That's for sure. So I traveled to Seattle. Why did I say Seattle? I traveled to St. Louis. And traveled to Milwaukee. Traveled to DC. Traveled all over, bringing comedy and podcasts to the world. And so that's what I spent a lot of my time doing this year. Fun part of my job, get to do a little travel, be a little bit on tour, spend a lot of time in DC. I was in DC literally the weekend after they started sending troops down there. And I thought it was a little weird that when I got off the subway, there was a National Guardsman there with his big ass gun. But we all know what happened there. Some bad things happened. So I don't think that we should be putting our military in cities. Doesn't make any sense. In fact, you might even say that the reason to do that would be, no, there's no reason to do that. Why would you think there's a reason to do that? You thought I was going to say there was a reason to do that. There is no reason. I was thinking about these poor kids, and then the poor National Guardsmen that were shot died. I saw the look on their face of these kids. GWU is low. They were like freshmen or loading into their dorms. Meanwhile, next to them, observing all these kids moving their stuff into the dorms, are these National Guardsmen and women. I don't know how you say the National Guards women. Just as fresh-eyed and as bushy-tailed as any other freshman, as the freshmen going into GWU. And I just saw that they were kids and that this is not what they signed up for. I appreciate that they went into military service. I'm a patriotic guy. But this is not what they are supposed to be doing. And I am going to so far to say that if those National Guardsmen weren't there, then they wouldn't have been shot. And it's not their fault that they were there. It's the leaders that sent them there. And it's a little messed up to get out of the train. Imagine being here. I'm in Boston. Come out of Porter Square T station and go up to the top of the escalator. And there's some guy with a fucking machine gun. The city's fine. It's clean. There's not a lot of crime there. It's all smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. And I didn't foresee this, but when I was there, I was not uncomfortable, but I was like just wanting those kids, these 18-year-olds in the National Guard, to just do what they signed up for, 2 weekends a month doing whatever shit, not occupying our cities. You understand? Because that's not something that's ever been done before. It's not something that's ever been done before. So what are they doing out there? I had a good year though. Other than that, I did have a pretty good year. It was a little stressful at times. I'm not gonna lie. I made Stacy watch Vice Principals because after watching White Lotus, we're all in love with Walton Goggins. Well, love Walton Goggins. Also, we got Fallout Season 2, Vice Principals. I made her watch Righteous Gemstones. And then I said, hey, gotten this far into the Danny McBride catalog. Let's go. You know what we're going to do, girl? We're going to watch Eastbound and Down. Stacy was not having it. Not having it for Eastbound and Down. Had no interest in that. But Vice Principals, it's pretty good. Pretty good with the Vice Principals. We enjoyed that. And also Righteous Gemstones, another hilarious show. That one ended this year, didn't it? It did. The answer is that it did. Also, was back twice a second time at Royale for their own headlining show. It was great. Back to media for a second. No, I'm jumping all over the place, so I'm going chronologically. So, Poker Face, great show. Natasha Lyonne. I think it's not getting renewed or something, which is too bad. Best thing Rian Johnson's ever done. The Glass Onion movies, they're fine. They're fine. This last one was fine. It was good. It was okay. I think the first Glass Onion movie was the best one of them all. But they can't all be winners. But anyways, Poker Face, love Poker Face. So if you haven't seen that, there's a couple seasons to watch. Let's see, another movie I saw. Go back to movies. Sinners, another great vampire movie, and Nosferatu. But also innovative, cool movie. I would say Sinners is divisive, right? It's divisive. A lot of people like it. My best friend didn't get it. Thought it was boring. I think the people that are in the music industry, though, or in entertainment in general, might have a little bit more sympathy or empathy toward like the characters in the movie. So yes, it is a vampire film. Music plays such an integral part of the movie. It plays such an integral part of the movie, like almost as integral a part as like Baby Driver, if that makes any sense. And Baby Driver did that thing with music, but the music, I think, is really what elevates Sinners from a good movie to a great movie. And by the way, the movie looks amazing. We watched it 70 millimeter in a theater, and mixed reviews. Probably half my friends liked it, half didn't. What I gotta say, I really enjoyed Sinners. Was good movie. Going back to Star Wars, I mentioned a little earlier, I love Rogue One, love season 1 of Andor, and culturally, Andor season 2 was hitting on some parallels, didn't need to, with our real life situation here, and I think everyone agrees. Star Wars fans agree. 9 out of 10 dentists agree that Andor was pretty great. So Andor season 2, spoiler warning, kind of rolls into Rogue One, which is, as I mentioned, my favorite Star Wars movie. So Andor really kept the whole look. And also there was like a rebellious side of the Andor storyline, which was really awesome. And people be loving it. Another thing that I wrote a little bit about, I think, if I didn't write about it, I know I definitely didn't post about it, but Mountainhead with people, my iPad is disconnected. Mountainhead, which was a Corel joint with the creators of Severance. Did Severance end this year? I'm losing track of when things ended, but a Mountainhead movie about, it's a funny movie in the way that Succession was a funny show sometimes, but this one's all about billionaires ruining the planet in a funny way, I guess. Mountainhead, it's on HBO. I think you should check it out. A few years ago, Stacy had asked me to book one of her favorite podcasts, Hello from the Magic Tavern. I didn't, but I told the boss that he should book it. And this is like before the pandemic even. And so finally in July, Hello from the Magic Tavern, a very fun podcast, played again at Arts of the Armory in Somerville. And got Stacey to do merch. We took a big, nice picture with everybody. And that was over the summer. And it was a really good time. So Hello from the Magic Tavern, another great podcast to be checking out. Let's see what else we got into. We'll frequently do a James Bond podcast. We haven't done all of the movies yet. One of the most ridiculous ones is A View to a Kill. And that's Roger Moore as James Bond. That was another bounding through Bond. And what's great about that movie is Christopher Walken is in it. And it's a completely over-the-top 80s, kind of what I think it should be like to watch a James Bond movie. It's pretty typical James Bond, if you ask me. What else? What else did we have going on? We're about halfway through the year here. We've got MC Chris came out of retirement, and MC Chris did a show, and it was a lot of fun, and we had a blast. And a funny story about MC Chris is, it's not behind me now, but I showed up one day, there was a Cobra His tank, new in a box, G.I. Joe. It's like, what is this? Did I order this? MC Chris, who's the real dude and my buddy, sent me his tank for helping him book some shows. So it was very touching, sweet gift, and he knows that I love it. And I love him. Spoiler warning, he's coming back. So keep an eye out. This year was also the SNL 50 years of SNL. So I had the smart idea, make that CNN 50. CNN 50 is dead now, but for half the year, I was leading up to my 50th birthday party, which didn't occur on my birthday, but lots of things happened with my birthday. See, before it was Facebook banned, Facebook took some login that I did for a freelance company I did, where I sent my birthday is like February something, 1999. And now Facebook, after a lot of a lot of stuff, thinks that that's my birthday. So traditionally, I would thank everybody to thank me happy birthday on my Facebook with their own little privateness. Thank you. So now people think my birthday is in February. It's not. My sister's birthday is in February. My birthday is in October. That's all messed up. And then my Facebook got all messed up. And then the birthday thing is still not fixed. And then I went and had a show for my birthday. I picked a Saturday night. I'd stand up for the second time. First time in February, stand up for the second time, September 20th of this year. At the Middle East upstairs, my home, and where I like to do shows. And what I did, which was kind of dumb of me, there was a lot of competition that night. Band Turnstile was playing. They played. Everybody was at that show. Everybody had plans this night. I picked a Saturday night because I thought, hey, Saturday night, that's a great time to have a show. It's the best day of the week. Except for that there was a lot of conflict. So I had a great birthday party. We'll get to that when we get to October. I had an awesome birthday party on September 20th. It was a Saturday. Not a ton of people came for my thing, but I came up with this idea around June, coinciding with the SNL 50, CNF 50, the anniversary season, 50 years of SNL, 50 years of claynferno. I have no complaints about the show. My dad was able to come down, check out the show. We did a live version of the podcast. We've never done that before. Awesome. And I had my friends Duck and Cover play, and Ken Reed, and Burlesque, Jeannie Martini, Devastation, Duncan Wild Johnson, Rob Cream, my comedy friends from the Middle East. They all played the show. They had a great time. So I was going to wait till October. We're talking about it now. It was awesome. And then I got to go and sing my generation favorite band, The Who. Got to sing my generation, Duck and Cover. And then it was a blast. So I had a great time. We had cake. All my friends and closest family was there. And everybody, honestly, friends and family that are close to me that couldn't make it, I love you. And I felt your spirit with me the whole night. I had a great time. 50 years only comes once a lifetime. And I feel like I really went out with a bang. I had big, ambitious plans. And despite the size of the audience, which was not, it's not like nobody showed up. But because of all the conflicts, and it was a Saturday night, other people were. I'm an industry guy, and I booked something on a night where everybody in the industry has to work. See, that's where I didn't think right. I didn't think right about that. So, anyways, we're gonna do more Clay in front of Variety Hours. We're gonna do more League podcast lives. It was so much fun. I really have to thank all the performers, everybody that came out to the show, everybody sent me birthday wishes, gifts, posts on my birthday wall on Facebook, because that is fixed now. CNF 50 is dead, but also thank you for making CNF 50 so alive. It was awesome. I had such a wonderful time. I feel so fulfilled. And my dad came down and watched. It was cool. I got to hang out with my dad and perform. I sang a song. It was probably terrible, but it was fun. All right, it was fun, and I did some stand up. And got to pal around my best friends on stage. I couldn't be more thankful for that. It was really it was awesome. It was awesome. So thank you all for that. And as we're in June. Oh, what do I got to say about June? Big man. We got Vincent Von Cat. That's right, everybody. I asked my landlord if I could give Stacy a cat for Christmas 2024. Granted us permission. Thank you. Ooh, bless. Love you. Thank you. She was the one that will go around and sort of like scour the internet for the best deals on things, right? But she's also the one that found the cat. Come June, Vincent Von Cat, my little sweet dark prayer. Just go onto my Instagram. You can see lots of pictures of him. Vincent Von Cat is the hashtag. He's the cutest little boy. He's 4 years old. I'm full on cat dad. Love my cat. He's the best. And I did find when I do get stressed out, right? And I've always read that having pets helps lower your blood pressure and things like that. So yes, I love my cat, and he definitely lowers my blood pressure. And he's surrounded by so much love and toys. And so we got him in June, and he's my little baby. And Kamal Nanjiani has a new stand-up special out. Talks about his old cat, which passed, and then his new cat talks about that. I'm so exactly like Kamal as far as this cat is concerned. We are the same. We are the same person. We love our little cats. So that was a good time getting that cat, I gotta say. One of the best things, really life enriching. I'm sure lots of people have pets. I'm not telling people anything I don't know, but I have never had a cat. It's like I could call my own. And really, it's just, he's just the best, dude. He's the best. My best. Hi, baby boy. June 5th, 2025. We didn't have a name for him for a long time, but then we settled on Vincent. And we settled on Vincent 5 days after we got him. So I have a stuffed animal, a stuffed bat called Vincent. So I didn't want that bat to get jealous, but Vincent Von Cat is better than Vincent Von Bat. Only the fact that he's alive, you know, that's kind of a big, huge advantage. And all the stuff they say about cats, them sitting in boxes, completely true. They love box. They love sit box. He loves roll around on paper. He loves his little toys. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention how much I enjoyed Superman. James Gunn's Superman. I can't use LiveStream. I don't have anything to drink. James Gunn's Superman, so incredibly great. So incredibly great. I loved it. It's different in fact that we're not getting like a real origin story. I mean, it is an origin story, but it's in there. But superheroes already exist, so ridiculous concepts of, like a big sea anemone floating in the skies like exists in this world. It's like not our world, it's like not like Marvel, like in our world. It's in a different place, that different planet, a different Earth that Superman comes down to. And I loved it. And the message of it is, it's chaos, be kind, punk rocker. The David Corn sweat was great. I was never nervous about the casting. Rachel Brosnahan, awesome. Casting was great. Script great. I gushed over the movie, and also I want to say half of my friends didn't like it, but some friends didn't like it. I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing better than Chris Reeve's Superman. Nothing in the world. It's the best superhero movie ever. Can't be topped. But this one, it's in the range. It's in the range for one of the best superhero movies. And I do say that knowing that it looks like I love everything. Oh, you love everything. How much stuff did I shit on in this live stream? A lot of stuff. I really loved Superman, and I got to see it not on a press night, but Amazon did this thing where you could buy tickets and the money went to charity, and it was in the press window, I guess. And then there was like everybody keep your mouth shut about it, kind of, no spoilers. So I kept it under that. And I really enjoyed Superman. I watched it a couple times since then, and I just want to see more DCU. I think they're finally getting there, which is, I don't know, it's like a weird thing to say. It's been at it for a while, but James Gunn we trust, just like in JJ we trust with Star Trek. Not so much Star Wars, if you know what I mean. But Superman, I loved almost everything about it. Of course, Crypto, just like Vincent Von Cat, stole the dang show. So whole dang show, that little puppy dog. So that was really, really great. And on the Marvel DC rivalry thing, here's a movie that I got to suggest that I don't think a lot of people might have even seen: The Day the Earth Blew Up. It's a Looney Tunes movie. We got Porky Pig and Daffy. And you can watch this movie. It's The Day the Earth Blew Up, and it kind of has that like Animaniacs kind of feel to it, like modern, but the old characters. And it was really fun. I think I've seen that twice. So Day the Earth Blew Up, we be loving that. Okay, what else do we got going on in life? What do we have going on in life around July 4th? I think I spent my July 4th watching the original Star Wars over again. Because, like, how many times can you watch that? A million times. You can watch Star Wars a million times. Actually, I can watch Star Trek 2009 a million times. Nah, get sick of that. I do not get sick of basically any Star Trek. Yeah. Stones, going through chronologically, as I mentioned, and then once we get closer to the summertime, I feel like fall is like really fast. It's like summer. It's like we're hot, we're sweaty. Now we're like all cold and cold and cold. And then this is on July 10th. I'm seeing this very first picture of little baby Lennox, my niece Darby's baby, who is a cutie, a patootie, as they say, a cutie patootie. And I kind of went a little crazy with loving Superman, and I apologize, but I was just really, really into that. That made it for a really good July. And then I worked the show with Dropkick Murphys down in Quincy. It was like Quincy's city, Massachusetts 400th anniversary, which is like, that's a long time that Quincy's been around. And I have to say that South Shore Chinese food we got from Cathay Pacific that night, best Chinese food around. Can't beat Chinese food in New England. Then Boston, okay. South Shore, best. We're loving that. I'm seeing here also Superman, #1 movie in the world at the time. Superman, #1 movie in the world. Back to media with some TV's Gilded Age came back, and we very much enjoyed that show. I love all things Downton Abbey, Gilded Age. Wrote a review about the latest and final chapter of Downton Abbey. And Julian Fellows, big fan of his. A little frank, I'm into superheroes and Downton Abbey, but I just have to say that that's the contradiction of life. These are things I'm into. I'm into Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe, Bat Wings, and costume dramas. That's what I'm into. Who you the judge? Okay. Sandman came back for season 2. DC Vertigo, and Neil Gaiman was in a lot of trouble this year. But big fan of the original Sandman comics. I think that it's a faithful adaptation of the show. And if you're gonna take one property, put on another media, they've done it right with Sandman. It's almost impossible to film. It's kind of like the Watchmen Vertigo. It's an impossible thing to even do. So why try? They tried. They're pretty successful, I would say. Love it. And they even put a bonus episode in. We just finished the other day with the death, the high cost of living. I think is the death. His sister, Sandman, death's his sister. A lot of goth girls when I was growing up in the 90s. They loved death. They loved the death graphic novel. So they took one of the graphic novels for death and gave her her own little episode. It was very, very cool. I watched Star Wars Tales of the Underworld. Did not particularly care for that one. Didn't care for that one, okay? I mentioned we wrap up what we do in the shadows this year. They did, we did, everyone did. So it's too bad, but what could you do? It was a great show. We did all of our podcast episodes about it. I'm losing a little bit of timey-wimey stuff because of my Facebook being locked out, which I will get to when we get into September. I'm mostly thinking this summer about how great it was to see Superman. That was my summer. My friend Ben Sisto, it's up here on the Substack and also my podcast. I think this is great. Ben Sisto has a documentary movie that was on tour. It came to Boston. It's about the song Who Let the Dogs Out, and it's a complete encyclopedia about that song, the different origins of the song. I interviewed him about his film, and we had a great podcast. So be sure to check that out in my Substack archives. And then we get into CNF 50, July 28th, 2005, which is CNF, I guess you would say, 2005, 2025, CNF 50, CNF 20, okay? I was on the cover of the Boston Phoenix in 2005. People still to this day, you were the guy that was you were the guy that had the most MySpace. You were this. So, of course, what I did was after I booked the show, so I used that as a little bit of artwork to promote CNF 50, CNF 20. So, yeah, I was once important, was once popular. So, do with that what you will. This is a kind of a funny, strange thing that happened. We booked a show with Jane Goodall, and she unfortunately passed away just a few days before the show was going to happen. So I was going to go down to DC again, and unfortunately, Dr. Goodall passed away. Didn't obviously go down there for that trip, but say rest in peace, Jane Goodall. Give generously to Jane Goodall Foundation. We can still use your help. And just right up to the end, she was doing it. She was doing it right to the end. And that's what I want to do. I want to be around forever and be doing it right up to the end. Just like Dick Dale, Jane Goodall, heroes of mine. They're the best, So very sad news about Dr. Goodall, but you can still be around for a long time and have a positive effect on people's lives. You really can. So we're getting into late July, August. What's happening in August? I feel like I've watched more things than I'm telling you guys about, but maybe not. I mean, I'm pretty much giving you, here's a great show. Another recommendation, Department Q. I'm a little behind on some of these things. Like maybe it's been out for a while, but Department Q on Netflix, good crime, drama, British thing, and really cool. Check it out. More so around August, I started announcing the lineup for CNF 50. My show, it's Middle East Upstairs. So start pointing out it's still for me, CNF 50, Devastation, Jamie Martin, Doug Wilder Johnson. Through this whole time, this whole year, I'm thinking about my teeth. I'm going to the dentist like once a month. I'm breaking stuff on pretzels. I'm working shows. I'm traveling in and out of town. It's a lot. So 2026, I hope that I can just settle down to regular routine, pay back everybody that I owe to get these teeth, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot, but a lot of good things happen to me this year that are just kind of like a wave of good things and bad things good things. Like, I love the kitty cat, right? Like that's priceless. I have a new great niece, something. My niece's daughter is, I don't know, some sort of like Darth Helmet relation to me. It's so wonderful to have new life. Like the don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. And I have lots of things to be grateful for in my life, including that I get to do shows, I get to travel, I have a cool job, I'm trying to piece it together, lots of little tiny cool jobs, but it's really, I'm happy. I'm happy and content. Seeing at 50 is dead. I'm reminding you again, seeing at 50 was a great year. And I really appreciate everybody that supported me all year, read my Substack, been doing lots of short form videos on TikTok, Substack, Instagram, YouTube, and just had a great time. I went to see my new glasses. The reason that I have these glasses is kind of like a sty in my eye, but also I went to see Dropkick Murphys and Bad Religion play, also enjoying the show. I just went up to see the show in Guilford, New Hampshire, watched the show, had a great time, Dropkick Murphys, Bad Religion, because I really wanted to see Bad Religion. And went out lunch with my dad, drove up there, Guilford, and had a great time. Almost lost Stacy's car in the parking lot because it was late and I was trying to find it. And it was so dark. My phone was on 1%, and I was completely freaking out about what to do. But yeah, eventually found the car, made my way back home. But that was another thing. I traveled to New Hampshire even, but it was great. I had a fun time up there at that show. And it was just great. It was fun to go to a show and not have to work it. Yeah, it was really good. So what else do we have going on? I worked some more shows in DC. Went down there a couple times this year, which was very fun. And then, yeah, we're getting toward, like I said, we're getting toward the last quarter of the year here. And this is going to be like less new shows to talk about, less new movies. But we went to see The Who's final performance. I get to see The Who on my 50th birthday year when they're going to stop touring as The Who at Fenway Park. And I have to shout out Beth and Matt for getting me awesome photos that I have framed behind me. You can't see them now, but I thank you for that generous birthday gift. Love seeing The Who at Fenway. Roger and Pete sounded so good. And I was even on the Jumbotron. So I had these really great seats, and it took the camera, and that they saw me singing. I think it was actually probably my generation. So I have a Target shirt on. I'm singing along to my generation, and then the whole Fenway Park. I don't like when people call Fenway Park a stadium. The whole Fenway Park saw me on the Jumbotron for a second. And that's not captured, but memory is there. It did actually happen because people said, "Hey, I saw you on the Jumbotron." I was like, "Yeah, you did. Yeah, you saw me on the Jumbotron." So that was cool. The highlight of the summer for sure. And we had these rappers talk from England, talk about other old guys from England. We had Pete and Bass come and play, Crystal Baller. Amazing. If you don't know who they are, look them up right now. Pete and Bass. Look them up. Come back here. Wow. They were so good. Sold out show. Boom. Boom. So I can book rap shows that people want to see. And I made money. Lost money on another show. Made money on another show. See how it works? I'm a Libra, okay? October 6th is my birthday. Start saving up now for my birthday next year. I'll be seeing at 51, but let's not go crazy. Staying at 50 is dead. Seeing at 50, wrapping it up literally here before midnight, New Year's Eve 2025. So, yeah, let's see. I have a lot of pictures of the cat, turns out. A lot of pictures of the cat. And we're getting into September 20th was when we had that amazing show, Millie's Upstairs, Claynferno Variety Hour. I mentioned before, we did a show with Carrie Ellis, The Princess Bride. That was really awesome. And what else? What else did we have going on? Then it was October, right? Really October. October 6th was my birthday. And I had a lovely time. We went and we saw the Downton Abbey movie. And we had a steak dinner. That's what I did on my actual birthday. At some point during the fall, my Facebook thing completely fell apart. I was taking off all of my accounts. I couldn't log in. I couldn't appeal. I had to get a lawyer involved and go on Reddit to figure it out. I had to spend money to have call the Attorney General of the state. And I had to fight it. And I fought Meta. And I got all my Facebook stuff back. And maybe I shouldn't say anything bad about them. Wow, that really sucked because I was, the freelancer, losing access to my Facebook accounts. And also, they paid me a little bit of Skrilla for my effort getting people to be on Facebook. So not beneficial for them to turn off my accounts, but they did. And I was locked out of my accounts for probably about a month in the busiest time of the year. It's fixed now. Facebook.com/claynferno, Instagram.com/claynferno, Threads.com/claynferno, Claynferno, Substack.com, Blue Sky, whatever it is, Claynferno. You get it? My accounts are back, baby. And if you DM me, if you have problems, I can set you on a path that got me to reinstate my shit. Because I was pretty bummed about that. For a while. Like I said, I had good times, bad times. They don't seem to care. I mean, I cared, but I had not have a stressful Don Draper, cool guy Don Draper, not messed up Don Draper, Don Draper myself into the next year, to be honest. So, yep. And so what else did we have going on? So I mentioned my dad came to my birthday party. It was really great. Really great that he came there for that. And I really appreciate it. Love you, Dad. Love spending time with my family. We might not agree on things politically or whatever, but it's great to spend time with your friends and your family and your cats and your dogs and just have a good time. Have a good time all the time. And hashtag live your life. My philosophy is live your life. You don't want to come to the show? Cool. Live your life. Live your life. It's fine. You don't want to go down the cop slide in Boston? You don't have to. Live your life. It's fine. It's fine. Went down to Pittsburgh for another show this year, and we'll be going back there, going up to Maine, do some shows. Like I said, I'm lucky. I get to travel. I get to do this. I got to do that. I love my life, I wish I had brushed my teeth when I was younger. Then I wouldn't have to worry about replacing all my teeth. But you know what? No regrets, as they say. No regrets. Especially not for my birthday. I had a good year. I honestly had a good year. And I got things lined up for my freelance business as far as taxes and paperwork is concerned. And that's just a huge relief that you couldn't even, if you feel like you're in the shit, you can get out of it. Just ask for help. It's just like drinking or not drinking or whatever. Any sort of struggles in your life, ask for help. Help is available If you need someone to help you or point you in the right direction, I'll help you. I will also help you do that. So we did, remember I mentioned the do-over series? There's another do-over this year for the Invisible Man, the original Invisible Man, for our Halloween episode. And then the new one with Elizabeth Moss, which ties into my Mad Men rewatch. I like both movies. You know, maybe if you were to pick one versus like the original Invisible Man, cool old horror movie if you haven't seen it, and it's really pretty fun. But the Blumhouse remake 2020 also might have caught you on a wave when you were doing pandemic type shit. So maybe you didn't see it, but it's a good movie. I love the Invisible Man. Okay. Love that. Love the Invisible Mans. We love all of that. Now we're into Halloween. Getting into Halloween this year. What I did this year for Halloween was I dressed up as CNF 100. Old man Ben Franklin wig. I dressed up with myself, not at 50, but as 100. CNF 100 is not dead yet. He ain't dead yet, Sonny. He's a little wrinkly, a little rough around the edges, but he ain't dead yet. So that's what I did for Halloween this year. Kind of a low effort costume, to be honest, but a lot of other shit going on. We wrapped up, lots of more Matlock this season, more Only Murders in the Building. We know you're watching that with Steve and Steve. Marty. Sorry, not Steve. Steve Martin and Martin Short. Stephen Martin. It sounds funny to me, but you know who I mean. Only Murders in the Building, crushed, killed it. Great this year. It'll come back. It'll come back again. So you got to be watching that faux show. What else do we watch this year? We're watching Terrifier movies tonight. Actually, going to watch Terrifier 3 after putting it off for a long time. Love that. Let's see. We're really getting into the end of the year here. It's like the last few weeks, past month or so, been a blur. I went down to DC again for another show. Fun show. Traveled to DC. Did that. Met Don Lemon. Did that. Met Kara Swisher. Met Scott Galloway. Did that. So fun. So good. And like I said, I get to travel. Consider myself lucky to be able to travel for my job. And it was a lot of fun. And then just like boom, 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 like a punch in the face. Once Halloween hits, it's just Thanksgiving and Christmas, and now it's fucking New Year's. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And to yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, one of the last things we did as a podcast this year was Die Hard, because I ain't never seen it and watched it and paid attention to it. I'm not going to say I've never seen Die Hard. I have, but never really gave a shit about it. And it's a classic movie for sure. So I was one of those people like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I don't know. Yeah, it is, I guess. But I really wanted to, really wanted to figure that out for myself. I'm just looking at my pictures now. November 20th. It's when these guys got permanently installed. So that was, just a little bit over a month ago. I can eat steak, I can eat pretzels, I can eat chips, I can eat everything. I'm gonna have a big old feast tonight. And let's see, CNF 50 is dead. I keep reminding you, CNF 50 is dead. I thought that I lost my keys, but Stacy found them in her car today. I've been stressing out, and I even pried open my mailbox today. Got the mailbox open and the mail out of it earlier today with tools, because I looked it up how to hack it on YouTube. But as a great end of the year, Stacy brought me my own keys from her car, which I had left there. What's another movie? Oh, His Girl Friday. I don't know if I mentioned that. Another classic, Cary Grant. Not a do-over, but really fun. It's like, hey, what do you think, Jack? The dialogue of that movie really pops. Is really good. We be enjoying His Girl Fridays. Another classic movie to check out. Check it out on livepodcast.com. A lot of these podcasts I'm mentioning, you can do it. You can listen to them. You can listen to them now. I am just getting into my December, which is now. December is now. December 31st, almost a few hours into this live stream. I only meant it to be an hour, but I was just, I'm reviewing the year and feel good. I want everyone to feel good going into 2026. I'm going to release the hounds. I'm going to release this video at some point on YouTube. So it'll be like, why am I seeing this recap video like well into January? By the way, where's the live league podcast? Where's claynferno Variety Hour video? Where are these things? These are things that are going to edit it and post it at some point in the future. Not tonight. I'm going to make steak dinner very soon. We're going to watch Terrifier 3. So we're wrapping it up pretty soon here. I want to thank y'all for joining me, and I will maybe just talk a little bit about Mad Men, my classic rewatch. Okay, Mad Men was a great fucking show. John Hamm is amazing. Elizabeth Moss is amazing. I feel like there's lessons enough to be learned that now that I'm going to watch these 90 hours, maybe what I was thinking, maybe I should take notes. Maybe I should do this or that for Mad Men. Talk about Mad Men. Be talking about Mad Men. But now that I've had a little bit of absorption time, maybe what I could do on Substack or on ithinkthisisgreat.com, release an audio podcast, a little recap. Maybe we'll have some special guests. I don't know. I can watch it pretty easily again. I could watch it pretty easily again. Mad Men is such a great show, and there's more things coming out that we should be watching. But I will say that Mad Men is a highly rewatchable, highly enjoyable TV show. And there's lessons to be learned about writing, about copy editing, about managing, about running a company, running a business, running a small business. There's all the cultural stuff that they be talking about in that show. Sure, that's all important things too. But I think there's like hidden lessons in there. So maybe help me come up with a name. Lessons of Mad Men. I don't know. There's something there. Educational. Mad Men 101. There's probably 1,000 Mad Men podcasts out there. I don't know if the world needs another one, but I might do that. Pivot now. Second season of Man on the Inside came out, and it was great. Ted Danson, very fun. A lot of fun guest stars in it. And we cannot forget about Pluribus. Apple TV show. Everyone's talking about it. Sci-fi, Vince Gilligan, Hive Mind, Virtual Body Snatchers. Think high concepts. You can't really stop watching it now that the whole series is out. You just gotta watch it. Watch the whole thing. Come back and talk to me about it. Leave a comment below. And since that's it, and I think I'm going to save my main Mad Men commentary for a later date. I think I'm going to wrap it up and start to make dinner now. I think I have gone on too long. I think this is great. claynferno. CNF50 is dead. I keep telling you that. Don't CNF50 me and tag me anymore. You do it. CNF50 is dead. CNF50 is dead to me. It's dead to me. I really hurt myself on that last CNF 100 style stuff. He said to me, hey, this is a fun recap. I don't think I could have done it any other way than how I did it. Scrolling through my photos, etc. Maybe this will be an audio podcast. Maybe this will be on video. Maybe it'll be unedited video. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to be. I have it on Riverside. I have it here on Substack. Maybe it's cut down to clips. I don't know. Maybe it's not worth it, but it was definitely worth it for you folks to be tuning in. And I really appreciate that you did and continue to support me. A great way to support me is to just subscribe to my Substack, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. CNF 50 is dead. I ain't dead. Claynferno's here. Stay baby. My niece got me this shirt, this Spider-Punk shirt. I love it. I love you. Take care of yourselves out there. Watch out for one another. That's an important thing. Always empathize. And I will see you on the internet. Bye now. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.